Hello, dear friends. Today we continue learning about neurographic shapes. Today's lesson I'm dedicating to circles. You can actually purchase the book on Amazon, The Book of Circles by Manuel Lima. And that would give you a pretty good understanding what the circle is and how a circle has been used. So the psychology behind that is here. A lot of that, at least, that you can learn from this book. Get it on Amazon, get it from some other sources, wherever you can get it. That would be a good resource for you. But I want to dedicate today's lesson to practical drawing. Please join me at my drawing board. Just give me 1 second. I'll switch the camera and we'll continue. All right, so we are here at the drawing board, and I'm going to start drawing using this kind of marker. It has not very thin and not very thick point, so you could definitely use something like that, or even thinner if you'd like to. So let's just get a sense of the paper. You are here, you don't know where to start, you don't know where to end, right? And that is the question that I'm getting most of the time. Where would I start? I'm staring at the empty page and I'm like, should I start in the middle? Should I start on the left? Should I start from the right? Look, when we just learning Neurographica, we really need to go with our intuition. Nobody's going to tell you to start here, there, or anywhere else. You really need to go from your inner sense. Where, right? And that is so easy. What you could do, you could place your hand on the paper and kind of like go over slow, meditative way, feeling with your hand. Where should I start? Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Breathe. You really need to breathe and feel with your palm, with your hand. Where should I start? And you may start getting tingling sensations as I'm getting now, right? And at some point you would feel like, oh, maybe here I feel a little bit different, maybe more tingling. Maybe your palm will become warmer, and just stop there. Stop there, okay? All right, so I know I'm gonna start here. If you're not getting any senses by doing this simple exercise, just look at the paper and make a quick decision. Don't think too much. 1, 2, 3, boom, and start there. It doesn't really matter where you're gonna start. Why? Because your page, those edges that you see, right, the page of the album, they're not true edges of your drawing. You can always add more from any side of your page by taping more paper and continue your drawing. Doesn't matter where you're going to start. Even here, if I start, it should be okay. Or there, because the circles, even if I draw half of the circle, the rest will go here. It's not visible because it goes to a quantum universe, but we know the continuation is going to be beyond the edge of this paper, right? So let me start, and we're going to be talking about circles during our drawing. It's always easier to do than just speaking and waiting for the teacher to start doing practical exercise. And my goal is practical exercise, not talking too much up front. All right, so since I've already selected where I'm going to start, I'm going to draw a circle. Again, some people thinking about the size. Should I do this size? Should I do that size? Go with your intuition. That's all you need to do. Maybe this is your first circle that you're drawing in Neurographic. And maybe your circle looks more like an egg, like this, right? Some people draw first circles like that, which is totally okay, because the sense of the shape comes with the practice. The more you practice, the better your circle is going to look like. And it will never be perfect. You see here and there, it will never be perfect because we are imperfect in organic world of shapes. We are not trying to achieve perfect circle here. Although we don't want to draw egg or have circle or oval, it has to look like a circle, more or less, right? But it doesn't have to be perfect. All right, let's do another one. Again, I'm just going with my intuition. Here is another circle. All right, it's also not 100% perfect, as you can see, but we can make it a little bit more rounded by adding more neurographic lines. And we're going to be talking about that as well. So the circle is the most holistic figure in Neurographica. And usually we're not wasting our time just drawing circles. We also think about maybe who am I, or what is my place in this world or in my family. Maybe you're thinking about the relationship between you and your children, your partner, your husband, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, or whoever you are in relationship with. So that would be the psychology behind that. But about that, we're going to talk in our next lesson, not right now. Right now, I want you just to concentrate on the shape and what else you can do with the shape. You see what I'm doing? I'm adding neurographic line around it. I'm adding neurographic line. You see? Why am I doing it? Some people ask me on some of my videos, why do you need to activate? The neurographic line activates any shape. If you put neurographic line around the shape becomes active. It feels like it's breathing, right? You give life to the shape. It's no longer static figure. It has some sense of movement, right? Do you feel it? So that's why you're doing it. You don't want pretty static figure on your drawing. You really want to surround it with some kind of movement. Although sometimes I'm using static figures in my drawings in order to add some stability, right? Or maybe to add some statements. I am who I am, right? I don't want any movement. At this point, I am perfect. But if you really want your drawing look alive, breathe, like it's breathing, right? Then add neurographic line around this and do some rounding. We talked about rounding, right, at the previous lesson. So if you haven't watched my previous lesson on lines and shapes, please do so. It will help you out to have a basic understanding of how the rounding works and why we do it in Neurographica. All right. So now, since this circle is crossing this circle, you want to round the crossings. And again, how do you do rounding? Why do you need rounding? Rounding you need in order to create neurographic pattern, to avoid the conflict between the figures, right? Because they're crossing each other, but they're not integrated at the point of crossing. Rounding helps them to get integrated. And the way you do rounding, let me just do a large scale. You really need to do like a half circle or part of the circle here, there, and you color it just like that. That's how it's supposed to look like. Okay. So, and it applies to figures, it applies to lines, everything will have this element in neurographic pattern. All right, let's do more. Let's do more. And again, you see, it's not perfect, but I'm activating it. I'm adding more lines now. I'm making sure my circles are crossing and they are rounded on the crossing points. You see, when you round it, it's like you're connecting them, you're integrating them in one pattern. If they're not rounded, they kind of exist on their own. They not communicating with each other. They just crossing and they dislike each other, basically. That's how I feel sometimes. When I leave something unrounded, the feeling is, all right, there is a statement there that I don't belong into this pattern, right? I am by myself, like figure talks to me. I am by myself. I'm not integrated, and you know, my whole drawing looks different. But once I apply rounding, right away I feel integration. And that gives me the sense of completion. Otherwise, I feel that my drawing is incomplete. All right, let's try more, right? What's going to happen if we're going to add a huge circle? Everyone is afraid to draw something like this, something big like that. All right, again, I want to activate it. And again, today we're only learning how to draw. Let me activate. So what happened here? I only drew a half of the circle. Where's the other half? Right here. It's right here. Is it visible? No, but we know it's somewhere there. I meant for this to be outside of my edge of my elbow. You see that? It doesn't matter. It could be just a small part. Look, if I do this, a quarter of a circle, what does it mean? That I don't have circle outside of that? Yes, I do. It's just not visible. This is the concept that you really need to grasp, because a lot of people are feeling anxious when it comes to drawing half figures. They're like, oh, well, I don't feel like I've completed my circles. I don't feel like that because I only drew part of the circle, quarter or even less than quarter sometimes, half of the circle. We really need to overcome this fear of drawing large figures and partial figures. There is no sense to get anxious. You're not going to send your drawing to the exhibition immediately. Maybe eventually you will create your own exhibition of your work, but not at this point when you're learning. So please breathe. That's what I do. Breathe, drink some water. I always have water next to me. And even if your circles don't look as good as mine, don't get anxious about this because this comes with the practice. You can't expect to start drawing and to have close to perfect circle on your first drawing. It's impossible. So if you're an artist, you probably have something even better than mine. For me, I was not trained as an artist. It's my hobby. I've learned from Neurographica everything that I know about drawing and coloring. But if you're an artist, for you probably would be easier to grasp. But again, you don't have to be an artist to do it. I'm not an artist. I kind of became an artist doing this work. But my emphasis more on psychology of Neurographica and combining drawings with psychology. But some people just using it for neuroart, for creating art, using the neurographic patterns and shapes. And, you know, I know people who's done beautiful work by creating art using elements of Neurographic, including myself. Okay, so let's continue. Let's do some smaller circle. And again, this doesn't bother me that it sits here. I'm going to incorporate it. You'll see how I'm going to incorporate it into the whole drawing. Again, I'm activating, rounding. Yeah, and here you go. You have another circle. Now you can take another marker just for trying sake, you know, and draw another circle on top of what you have. Okay, probably this will never end up to the perfect circle outside of this paper, but I don't care. I can correct it so it looks more like a circle with neurographic line. That's why this is another reason why I need to activate my drawing sometimes to correct it, to correct the shape. So it's more fluid, it's closer to perfection. And I'm doing rounding with the lighter marker in this case. Green, okay? Let's do another one. Let me do like this. All I'm doing right now, I'm filling up the space with circles, activating them through neurographic line. I hope you're drawing with me and getting the same sense of experience. How do I feel? Sometimes my heart really starts beating faster. I don't know. When I draw circles, sometimes I really feel so activated and I feel so rounded and complete when I'm drawing circles. It gives me the sense of completion. So let's do another one. And again, I'm just doing it intuitively. I'm not overthinking where the circle belongs. Does it belong here or not? If I would spend time overthinking, I would never complete my drawing. Never, 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 never. Let's do another one. Just trying to find more suitable marker for that. Okay, let's do one with calligraphic point. It's going to be interesting. Let me try to do it. So circles like this using calligraphic markers, you see, like if they create the sense of the thinner part goes here, the thicker part appears over there, gives you the sense of 3D almost, I would say, right? All right, let's do another one here. Okay, and I don't want to really put too much of the lines around them. They're going to add a little bit of freshness and kind of sense of stability in our drawing. And here's another one. All right, already like coming out pretty. Sometimes the drawing may look off balance, like I feel like it's a little bit tinted to the left. So I would like to add something here to balance it out. Because my idea is to have balancing drawing that balances figures, balances your inner state by that. And it gives a sense of stability. It gives you, although you have figures that in movement, you're stabilizing the composition by making sure that the figures are distributing equally in a way that it creates the weight of your drawing kind of distributed around the whole pattern. Although the tendency right now is kind of to create a symmetric sense. We can do it later, but not in the beginning. In the beginning, I want you to focus on basics. Let's not get crazy with creativity here because we're just learning. When you learn the basics, then you can do like the whole bubbling patterns with various colors and you can do whatever you want. But let's not do it right now. Let's just focus on the basics of circles and rounding, making sure you're getting it, right? So then you can practice on your own without me. Just you watched it, now you know what to do. And then you practice. Practice various shapes, adding to the circles. If you already know about other shapes like triangles and squares. But today's lesson is about circles. Okay, so I've rounded it. Just like that. And here as well. So everywhere where your circles touch each other, I would suggest rounding. And I see some unrounded spaces here, which I need to finish. And I would advise you to finish as well. See how you feel, right? I'm checking always myself. How do I feel about my drawing? The good part about Neurographica, it is an abstract art. You can really rotate, right? And get a different sense. Sometimes it makes more sense when you're rotating to you. You're like, oh, I like it upside down better than the way I drew it. So it's up to you how you're going to view your own drawing, right? So I'm going back to my original drawing. I may add another circle here. I feel a need to add another one. When you have an experience with drawing circles, you will know where to add them, where to have half of the circle, quarter. You'll learn about this by doing them, by drawing circles. And again, you have to check back how you feel. How you feel about it. Are you breathing? Some people not breathing during drawing. They're like, oh my God, I'm gonna make a mistake if I breathe. No, you're not gonna make any mistakes. The beauty of Neurographica, no matter what you do, it can be corrected at any time. You are never wrong. Okay? So now we have circles, and how would you make this drawing alive? You start adding neurographic lines, right? We talked about them, that those lines never create a pattern. They actually flowing in space. They have an organic meaning. And with the lines, you know that you are putting through electrical currents that will connect the entire drawing. In the beginning, it may look very messy, right? But at the end, you're going to get really beautiful drawing. It is always beautiful, even if your critique tells you it's not. So just remember one thing: if you adding lines, and some people getting panicked about this, oh my God, I drew too many lines, now I have to do all the roundings. You should not really get bothered by that. Just do the rounding. And here is the way to incorporate something that was drawn. You see that, how I'm incorporating it? There you go. How easy is that? And it is time for rounding. And a lot of people like rounding, and I'm getting it into my comments, people coming back to me, and they saying the rounding is the best part because it calms people down, calms all your senses. You can put a very nice meditative music during your practice and continue rounding. Just continue doing this. See how you feel. And again, patience comes with experience. When you starting learning Neurographica, the first thing that a lot of people report to me, they not sometimes patient enough with this work. They're saying that it takes too much time to round. You know, I'm telling usually my students to draw as many lines as possible, because the lines are, when you round them together, they're creating new neurological connections in your brain. They reflect right there. And the more lines you draw, the more new neurological connections you're creating. Okay, and people become impatient about this. They're telling me it's too much. Well, nobody said it will be super easy, but you should know this feeling of impatience will go away when you learn more about Neurographica, and most important, practice drawings. If you practice drawings, you will develop that sense of no matter how many lines you have, no matter how many crossings you have, you will still be patient and continue with your practice. That's how it is. Only comes with experience, doesn't come with anything else. Right now, I don't want you to do any super artistic work if you're a beginner, right? Just learn about how to incorporate lines, figures, circles when they're crossing with each other. Just do that. learn. And then when you learn, then you can come up with some ideas of how to expand your drawing. Maybe for your own need, you can start drawing other objects. Maybe you want to draw something like nature or flowers or anything that can come to your mind, and try to work through that as well in an artistic way. Okay. Let me show you one little trick. What you can do in places like that, you see, it's like kind of close space. You can draw a little circle right there. And those little bubbles, they usually create very beautiful feeling of freshness. You see, like here, for example, round it and create a little bubble, just like that. We're already getting a sense of some sort of pattern, right? And my emphasis today is not on coloring, but mostly on the drawing itself, okay? So we're gonna be studying color as well, but right now I just want you to get a sense of drawing first of all. And then we're gonna continue more at my next lessons. Just draw first. People getting overwhelmed. That's what I hear from you guys. You send me emails. You're telling me it takes so much time to round everything. Then I have to color. Then I have to do this. I have to do that. Fine. You don't have to do all at once. Master your drawing first. And then we can talk about colors. Okay? That's why I'm putting more emphasis on drawing today. What else can you do here? You can use this calligraphy marker and also add more lines here. Look how beautiful it is. It creates kind of like a 3D feeling. Look at this line. It is thicker here, thinner there. Isn't that beautiful? I love it. I love the sense that it gives me. Just like that, right? Okay. And now you have to round them. Use the point part of the marker to round. And see how you feel about this. It's a little bit difficult to round with calligraphy marker. They're not designed for this. With a little bit of effort, you can do it. Just remember, you really need to round every crossing. The more you round, the better for you. The more holistic, the more rounded you're going to feel afterwards. Just like that, right? Just like that. And then we can add more green lines here. You can use any colors, anything, red, blue, any other ones, orange, for your drawing. Next time when we meet, we're gonna color this whole pattern. So no anxiety, okay, that you need to complete everything and it takes too much time. If you feel like, if you want to challenge yourself, you can definitely complete coloring. And you know, I have my own Facebook group that I'm posting with every video that I'm posting to my YouTube. You can join my free group. They all private groups. I would need to approve you. But then you can post your drawings there from my YouTube videos and talk to me. Communicate to me, ask me questions. I'd like to hear from you. Otherwise, I don't have any feedback from my YouTube videos, and I'm planning to go live when I learn about how to do it in a perfect way. Right now, I'm not really clear how to do it, but I will do it for sure because I have no choice. I have to do it. People are writing to me and they're asking me to go live, and I'm putting it on hold because, and I'm very embarrassed to say that I've never done that. All my lessons are done through Zoom. But now I have to master this YouTube live presence so everyone can see me. We can talk real live. You can draw with me. That would be awesome. And I will do it. I promise. I just need to get to this. All right. I hope you're having fun with this process, right? Look how pretty it is already. When we're going to color it, it's going to look fantastic. You can always thicken your lines if you feel like I'm thickening my green lines, that they have more emphasis on green, that green is visible here. It's not just on the background. It is a part of the drawing. You see, the more I round, the more connected all components are. The more complete this drawing looks like. Okay, you see what I'm doing? Like I'm creating circles within the pattern, just to make it more visible, to make it more interesting, right? And little bubbles, they're in that sense. All right, my darlings, I hope you enjoyed this drawing with me. And you're gonna join my groups on Facebook where you can post your work. Just remember, I'm offering level 1, the user level of Neurographica. Just write to me in the email listed in this video if you want to learn more about the basics. And here I'm only giving very high level knowledge, right? We're not deep diving into psychology. We're not deep diving into principles. We're just drawing. We're having fun here. But if you really, really want to know about Neurographica, the way to learn is to take at least level 1 that gives you basic understanding of the method. And again, I'm an instructor of Neurographica. You can certainly be safe with me studying and learning about everything that you need to know in order to understand better the principles, ideas, psychology behind it. Somebody wrote to me, I'd like to understand psychology behind that. Totally, we can do that, but it is a formal education, right? From free YouTube lessons, you can definitely learn about patterns and how to work on certain aspects of your life and some psychology behind that. But to deep dive, you really need to take the formal education in Neurographica like I did, guys. I've studied for more than 2 years. The whole instructor course was 1 year, but before that I took first level, specialist level. I studied with almost every known Russian psychologist who took Neurographic and became instructors, because I wanted to get their perception of the method and how they look at that. For me, it was a huge, huge deep dive in order for me to learn about method. Here I'm also getting some ideas of how to incorporate more circles if I would like to. See what I'm doing here? I'm making those small circles to create a bubbly feeling. Okay, so yes, please continue watching my videos, subscribe to my channel. To get all notifications, just click on that little bell next to subscribe so you're not missing my videos, my free videos, and I'm going to be posting more and more. Right now, I'm just warming up because I came back from the long break. I haven't been doing much of Neurographica, but right now it feels like the universe is telling me I have to. And a lot of you are writing to me and asking me for lessons, and I'm more than happy to do so for our community, for people around the globe, and helping people to overcome stress, anxiety, and the feelings of hopelessness and feelings of losing energy, losing interest in life. So I really think that Neurographic can bring you back to life and give you all the tools necessary to continue. And with your creativity, you really can create beautiful work. As you can see, what have we done here? Nothing much, but look, it already looks beautiful. We haven't even colored it, right? And it already looks beautiful. When we color it, it's going to be super beautiful. And how easy it is to do that. You don't have to be an artist. You just need to spend some time developing your skills. In this case, draw circles, draw neurographic lines around circles, use different colors, use rounding technique, use neurographic lines to connect all the shapes and round them. Get the sense of that. That will help you to move on to the next level. All right. Okay, my dears, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to my channel, as I said, to get more videos. And I'll see you pretty soon. Thank you. Bye now.